Let's move on to Afghanistan, an area where you said that they have been cooperating. They've just said that they're going to offer more routes through their territory for material for NATO and US forces in Afghanistan. In NATO summit in Lisbon, talking now about a 2014 deadline for transferring combat responsibilities to the Afghan forces. I've also heard, is that an absolute date?
Yes, it is.
Absolute?
Yes, it is. It's one everybody signed up to.
All combat operations will be handed over to Afghans at the end of 2014.
I would describe it much like what we just went through in Iraq, where clearly they have the lead for their own security. We are then in some capacity in a training, advising, and assist mode, which we would expect to be for some time. But in terms of combat operations, they would have the lead.
So you see post-2014, just like we see in Iraq today?
As best we can tell, absolutely.
Any more?
Any more
troops, operations? I mean, I ask you because right now, how many areas have even been transferred to Afghan control?
Well, one of the things that happened in Lisbon was the commitment to start that transfer in the spring, and that will be based on conditions on the ground and a recommendation from General Petraeus, literally district by district. So it's a significant commitment to start that this spring. Again, it really is a situation where the Afghans then lead, specifically in terms of their own security, and we think that's absolutely critical, and that they'll be capable of starting to be able to do that this spring.
Well, your own officers say, in fact, even in the least combative areas of Afghanistan, that it could take something like 18 months to 24 months to complete a transfer to Afghan lead in terms of security. Can they really, do you believe, take over security within 4 years?
I do believe, as best we understand things right now, that that's very much a reachable goal. There's a lot to do between now and then, clearly. Very dangerous place, very tough fight we're in right now. We certainly understand that. But that's a goal, actually, that President Karzai set out there, and that all NATO allies, actually all countries who are providing forces, because there are some 20 other countries doing that, have signed up to, and we think it's reachable.
In order to do that, it looks like the situation on the ground is shifting. In other words, that there is a huge spike in raids, whether it be drones on the Pakistan area, whether it be trying to kill as many Taliban as possible on the ground in Afghanistan. Is that what's happening now?
We knew this year would be a particularly difficult year because of all the added troops that we put in, among other things, and it has been. And I would expect next year to be a very difficult year as well. That said, the security situation has started to change. It has started to get better. We've sacrificed greatly, tragic losses, far too many always, but we've also succeeded in starting to reverse the momentum. I think General Petraeus calls it, we've arrested the momentum in some significant places.
But he says it's not irreversible.
No, it isn't irreversible, and it's still fragile. That's really where we are right now in this fight.
So, given that fact, as you put it, what is the relationship with President Karzai, which seems to be basically all over the place on any given day? What does he say now about night raids?
Well, I think, obviously, most recently, he's spoken to his concerns about that. The piece that you ran earlier speaks to a huge issue, which is the issue of civilian casualties. But it also speaks to a point that is oftentimes not clearly articulated, which is the Taliban are killing about 9 or 10 times more civilians than our forces are. And we are making extraordinary efforts to make sure that doesn't happen. We recognize President Karzai's concern with respect to night raids and some of the other concerns that he has, and we are doing all we can. There has to be a balance here, very specifically.
Let me move quickly over to Yemen. Al-Qaeda brazenly puts out a statement yesterday, saying that this is our tactic. Bombs that cost $4,000 plus. A raid against all your multi-billions of security and counterterrorism. Are they going to succeed with one of these cargo plane bombs?
Well, there's an awful lot of effort going on to make sure that they don't.
Doesn't that worry you?
You bet it worries me. And I give credit to a lot of people at this point in time that they haven't been able to pull something like this off, because it's a very serious threat. And I believe what they are saying. They've grown, it's dangerous, and it's a place we need to focus.
Don't ask, don't tell, something that's hugely important right now. The draft report has come to you. Some 70% of the military say that it will either have a beneficial or non-existent effect. Do you think it needs to be voted on in this lame duck session?
Well, I won't speak to what the draft report says. We'll have this report done here and to Secretary Gates in the next couple of weeks by December 1st. And I won't make any comments on where I think we need to go until that report is done.
You support it, though, repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
From my personal perspective, absolutely.
Because?
Because I think it belies us as an institution. We value integrity as an institution.
You mean forcing them to lie about what they are?
And then asking individuals to come in and lie about who they are every day goes counter to who we are as an institution.
Apart from the integrity issue, many of your allies, whether it be England or Canada or France or Australia, the Israeli army, they have openly gay service members in their military with no adverse effects.
Certainly. I've seen that, and that is very much a part of this review, and we'll incorporate that into the review and recommendations which go up the chain.
So were you angry with the new Marine Commandant when he cast his own doubts over this and criticized it?
He had made his position very clear in testimony. What concerned me about his most recent comments, it came at a time where we actually had the draft report in hand, and we had all agreed that we would speak to this privately until we completed the report and made our recommendations up the chain.
And if it does not get voted on in the lame duck session, is there any chance that it will come up in any reasonable time period afterwards?
Well, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen, obviously, from
but do you think it'll put it down the road?
From a legislative perspective. The other piece that is out there that's very real is the courts are very active on this. And my concern is that at some point in time, the courts could change this law and in that not give us the right amount of time to implement it. I think it's much better done. If it's going to get done, it's much better done through legislature than it is out of the courts.
Admiral Mullen, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.